Hey, welcome to The Feast Life, where we empower you, the modern homeschool mom, to create a life in homeschool you love. I'm Julie Ross, the creator of the award-winning curriculum, A Gentle Feast, a homeschool veteran of over 20 years, and a certified Christian life coach. Charlotte Mason said, life should be all living, not a mere tedious passing of time. So on this show, we seek to savor the feast of life. So go get your favorite beverage and pull up a chair. You're welcome at this table. I'm so excited to share some of this stuff with you, and I just want you all for a minute here to pause and let's take a deep breath. Okay. Okay, if you didn't do it with me, we're going to do it one more time. I want you all to pause, unless you're running on the treadmill or something while you're listening to this, but maybe pause the treadmill for a second. Okay, I want us all to take a deep breath and let it out. Yes, as we start planning for the school year, it can be slightly overwhelming. And so I want us to spend this time together to reset and hopefully show up in a different way as we are planning and preparing for the school year. And one of that is in a relaxed state. So lots of breathing is necessary at times like these. So what happens is we can get bogged down in all of the details of the school year and feel like we have to figure everything out. So like on week 24, it says that, I'm supposed to do this thing for geography, but I might want to do this instead. Is that okay? Or what supplies do I need for that? Or like on week 30, I might want to do this instead of what's here. And we can get so wrapped up in all these details and questions. And can I combine my third grader and my fifth grader for geography? Or we're taking this co-op class, so how do I reschedule this? Those are all very important questions to think through. But what often happens is I find that we get stuck in those. If you've ever heard the term analysis paralysis, we get frozen in all the decisions that have to be made. Like decision fatigue is a real thing, people. And we feel like we have to have the right answer, and we have to have the right answer now. And we put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on ourselves to make the right decision. Like if I don't figure out what I'm going to do for geography on week 24, like the whole school year is going to be ruined. And we feel this, like, we don't say that out loud, right? But in our heads, there's that subconscious kind of pressure for those decisions. I try to think of it as, I call it the how swamp. And we get stuck in the swamp of the tyranny of how am I going to do this? How is this going to work? And then how will I do this? And we get stuck in asking all these questions. And we feel like oftentimes there's only one right answer. And so if we don't find that one right answer, we are going to mess everything up. So we have to do all the research, and we have to do all the planning, and we have to ask 50 people what they think about XYZ so that we can find the one right answer. And here's the deal. Oftentimes, there's just not one right answer. There could be multiple paths that could get you to where you want to be. And that's why we're going to talk about our vision here and why it's so important with determining our direction here. When we feel like we have to choose between X or Y, that's very stressful. And we get into this analysis paralysis between these two things. But here's the deal. There's lots of options. There's never just two choices. And that was so helpful for me to realize, because I overanalyze things to death. I overthink it. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about stuff, and I can't go back to sleep because I feel like all this pressure of I have to get it right. And so it really helped me to come to that realization that there might not be one right answer. Can I brainstorm other possibilities? It's not just A or B. It could be C, D, E, or F, right? There are multiple possibilities. So that's why it's so important to know your outcome, to know your why, to know your direction. And then you can see that, oh, there are multiple possibilities here that can get me to this path, because this is what is actually most important to me. I want us to get out of this kind of overthinking analysis paralysis, house swamp, however you want to call it. If you're feeling stuck in that mode right now and you're doing like hyper research and spending way too much time on Google and going down rabbit trails to try to feel like you need to figure everything out, hopefully this class will give you some clarity to move you past that and to help you focus on the bigger picture. I put a picture on Instagram this morning. I don't know if any of you saw it, but it was me. I went to Muir Woods when I was out in California, and it was absolutely wonderful. I've never seen those big of trees in my entire life. We don't have to have trees that big. We have big pine trees, but not those redwood trees like they have out there. And it was truly remarkable and breathtaking to see those big trees. But oftentimes we can lose the forest from the trees this time of year. And so that's why I want us to take a step back, look at the forest, look at the big picture, and that will help you give you some clarity and move you out if you are feeling stuck, or if you are feeling overwhelmed, or if you are feeling like you're paralyzed with trying to make too many decisions. I love this part where the Cheshire Cat asked Alice, "Where are you going?" And Alice is like, "Which way should I go?" And the cat says, "That depends on where you are going." And Alice says, "I don't know." And the cat says, "Then it doesn't really matter which way you go." So if we don't know where we're going, it doesn't really matter if we choose this or we choose that, or we use this product or we schedule this in our day, because we don't know where it is that we actually want to get to. Alice is asking, which way should I go? And I often get questions like that. Should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm like, what is your outcome? What is the result that you want for your homeschool? I'm not really sure.
Water.
And then it doesn't really matter which of those you choose. So that's why it's so important to have our outcome and to know where it is that we want to go. So we're going to set our vision here. I want you to take a moment. So if you don't have anything to write with, you can go grab something, unless you're again running on the treadmill, you have to do this later. But if you have something to write with, or you could put it in your phone, I want you to take a minute, and I actually do want you to answer these questions, okay? So I'm going to pause for a second here. It's so important to answer these in writing, not just in your head. There's something really powerful about putting our words onto paper. So why am I homeschooling? Is it because I'm disenfranchised with what's being taught in public schools? Is it I really want to have this close relationship with my children? Is it I really feel like this is the best way to educate children is at home? Really, when it comes down to it, why are you doing this? Why is this so important to you? Why is this a non-negotiable in your life? So take a minute and write down, why are you homeschooling? If someone came up and asked you that, maybe family members have asked you this, right? Or people in your neighborhood. Curious, why are you homeschooling? What would you say? Hey, I just wanted to let you know some super exciting news. I am opening the doors to my signature course, The Confident Homeschool Mom, in the middle of September. You can now get on the wait list so that you know exactly what's happening and get all the details. The Confident Homeschool Mom is my 12-week program where I will provide you with teaching and also small group life coaching to help you ditch the overwhelm and the fear and doubt that can often come with homeschooling, so that you can show up confident and with clarity and with calm and peace, so that you can have a life and homeschool you love. In order to get on the wait list so you know exactly when the doors open, go to thefeastlife.me/confident waitlist. That's all one word. thefeastlife.me/confident waitlist. I hope you will join me this September for this transformational program. All right. And then the next question is it. So if you have a set philosophy of education that you are using in your home, or maybe you're still trying to figure out what philosophy of education you're following, or what do you believe about education? Do you believe that education is making sure that my child has checked all these boxes and that they're prepared for college, that education is preparing them for a life, like Charlotte Mason says, that education is about inspiring ideas and education is about shaping a person? There's lots of things, right? That education, maybe for you, your education was just not something that you'd want to repeat with your own children, right? So what do you want? How do you want to be different, maybe, than how you were school growing up? So take a minute to answer that question. What do you believe about education? Just jot first things that come into your mind. Don't overthink this. All right, I love this next question, especially since now I have adult children. What kind of people do I hope my children grow up to be? Not that we have any guarantees, right? This is not a formula where our children are not little cogs on a machine. And if we just input X, we get Y out. That's not how it works, right? But we know that they can make their own choices in life, that God has his own plan for them and their journey. But if you have adults, you're going to be around your adult children someday and your grandchildren. What kind of people would you like your children to grow up to be? And then how do you want to feel at the end of your homeschool journey? There will always be things that you regret. Trust me, now that I have adult children, I can say that, right? But I also don't feel exhausted. I feel excited for what the future holds and empowered. You're at the end of your homeschool journey and your last one is out the door and you're reflecting back on your homeschool time with them, which, trust me, flies by. How do you want to feel about it? What do you want to look back on and be excited about? Remember? What do you get to do in your homeschool that aligns with this vision that you wouldn't get to do if you weren't homeschooling them? I use the word get to instead of have to, because if you say, I have to plan my homeschool year, I have to buy these books, I have to make sure we have the supplies, I have to make sure I have everything planned out. Saying I have to doesn't feel really good, does it? It feels like you have this big, heavy backpack on your back, right? This burden. Okay. So wording it as I get to or I choose to is super empowering. Okay. This is a choice, right? You don't have to homeschool. No one's making you do it. So you are choosing to do it. You get to do it. And when we word things as I get to do this or I choose to do it, it makes us feel excited about it. Again, it gives us that power, confident feeling for I'm choosing to do this. I get to do this. This is an honor and a privilege. So I want to show you my purpose statement. So I started off with I am. So based on the goals that I had for my homeschool year, what kind of mom do I need to be? So I wrote down some keywords. I am a fun, loving, engaged mom who daily, again, gets to provide my children with living ideas that will inspire them to be lifelong learners and motivated, empathetic, critical thinkers. So to answer the question, how did I want my children to be as adults? It was really important to me that they always wanted to be learning, that they always had the skills to be able to learn for themselves. And I wanted them to be motivated thinkers and empathetic, critical thinkers. So they're able to have empathy for the people around them in the world, that they're able to think critically. They're not just being told what to think. I think that was somebody's answers. That schools can squash independent thinking. I want them to have that independent thinking. That was a goal for mine. So I took the goals that I had, that vision, the answers to those questions, and I put them in here about what I get to do, and then who I am. I am. Now, if you're familiar with Charlotte Mason's motto, I am, I can, I ought, I will, very much fits into here, right? But we're starting off with I am. I am this. This is the kind of parent I want to show up to be. And that will help me reach this vision. I get to. So what do I get to do in order to meet this vision? It's really important to me that we read beautiful living books together. It's really important to me that I fill our days with beauty and art and music, poetry. It's really important to me that we get out in nature. Again, this is part of my vision. So this might not meet up with you. Again, this is why it's so important to know what you want and what is important to you, because your homeschool doesn't have to look like mine or the person down the street or the lady on Instagram, okay? So you get to do what is important to you. And play, that was super important to me. I wanted the atmosphere of our home to feel playful and curious and relaxed and excited to learn. So we will have meaningful connections and develop a passion for life and others. So again, that was about that long-term kind of goal there. So this is why it's so important to have a vision. because you don't want to be like Alice and be like, I don't know where I'm going. So this thing looks shiny and new, or like this person down the street's doing this, or this lady on Instagram recommended this. This looks like fun. Like you can get so blown around. And believe me, because I was there, I did this for years in the early years of my homeschool, but they didn't fit with me. They didn't fit with my vision was. And so I ended up being really frustrated and not getting the results in the atmosphere and the vision that I wanted for my homeschool. So thinking through what is really important to you is super helpful. So how do you need to show up? And then I get to, what is it that you are going to do that's going to help you get to this vision? I will keep going through what I have for today, but the homework is to work on this and to work on creating a purpose statement for your homeschool. So based on what your vision is, what are the things that are like super important to you, based on how you think children learn, what education is, what value that is, what your philosophy of education is, based on your vision for the adults that you want your children to be, what do you need to do on a daily, weekly, and yearly basis for those goals to be accomplished? So again, that's why it's so important to know your outcome. So my outcome is I want to motivate my children to be lifelong learners. I have to be a lifelong learner myself. How can I schedule that in and make it happen? It's going to change in different seasons. Again, it might not look the same this year as it did last year. It might not look the same next year as you're going to try to do this year. You might have something that works for a month and then you're like, okay, that's not working. Being willing to adapt. What is really important to me? What is it that I actually want? And it's fun to play with that and think about that vision for yourself, isn't it? So starting small is super important. And then we can build on those wins as you keep going there. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode. Here are our key takeaways to help you create a vision for your homeschool year. Number 1, avoid getting stuck in analysis paralysis. It's easy to become overwhelmed with decisions and details when planning your homeschool year. Instead of getting bogged down in the how, focus on the bigger picture and remember there are often multiple paths to success. By broadening your perspective, you can find a range of possibilities that align with your vision and goals. Clarify your vision and purpose. Knowing your why is essential. Take time to reflect on why you homeschool, what you believe about education, and the kind of people you hope your children will grow up to be. This vision will guide your decisions and help you stay focused on what truly matters. Number 3, shift your mindset to empowerment. Replace the language of I have to with I get to or I choose to. This simple shift can transform your attitude towards homeschooling, making it feel like an exciting privilege rather than a burdensome task. Embrace the opportunities homeschooling offers and approach your planning with a sense of empowerment. Number 4, develop a purpose statement. Creating a purpose statement for your homeschool that encapsulates your vision and the actions you need to achieve it. This statement will serve as a guiding star, helping you make decisions that align with your long-term goals. Write down your purpose statement as a tangible reminder of your homeschool's direction. And number 5, stay flexible and adaptable. Understand that your homeschool plan may need to evolve over time. What works this year may not work next year, and that's okay. Be willing to adapt your approach based on your family's needs and the outcomes you desire. Flexibility is key to maintaining a joyful and effective homeschool environment. I hope this helps you as you start your school year, and I hope it is one filled with beauty and connections. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, please heart it down below and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave a comment and let me know what you learned in today's episode. I'd love to hear from you.